look at this administration. It's a fucking shit show.
Yeah,
I
but
don't know.
Kamala raised over $1 billion too.
Kamala's a huge amount of money, and they didn't have an open process, which they should have in that primary to get the most qualified person. Also, why would you want to run right now if you were a really qualified person? I think this is another thing that like people like to laugh about the Trump, kind of bullying and memeing stuff and all of that. But like, if you want to run as a Republican and you're an earnest person, it's like, I want less government, I want strong military, or if you're a more MAGA Republican, I want smaller government, but I also want, strong borders, whatever your issues are. Yep. Like you got into it because you care about that, because you've contributed to your community, and you want to run as a Republican now. But you think that something Trump did was bad. You didn't like the one big beautiful bill. You thought that it was too much. Why are we giving so much tax cuts to rich people? You think we should have done more tax cuts for working class people, or you thought we should have balanced the budget. You care more about fiscal responsibility. And you're like, I like Trump, but I'm just not with him on this. He's busting the debt up. Or I like Trump, and I think we should have a strong border, but I don't think that masked thugs should be grabbing people off the streets, if they're here and they're working and they're trying to do their best in this country and they haven't committed any crimes. I'm not for that. Or I like Trump, but this. If you say that, you're out. If you say that, you're out. Like Trump just runs. It's just like the inside of the Republican Party right now is just a total cult. Like you will lose your primary. You can put on one hand who is an exception to this. You got Tom Massey out of Kentucky who's doing this, who's doing principled stuff on Epstein and on spending. Like that's basically it. Like Who else? Can you think of anybody else? Like who else in the Republican Party is saying, I like Trump, but I'm going to oppose him on this thing? That happens in the Democrat. It happens all the time throughout history. Nobody's really doing that right now because you're out. Because the way that the system is now is that Trump's running a MAGA protection racket where like you got to be with him or you're against him. If you're against him, you got TDS. You're the enemy. You're never Trumper. Dude, I just don't think that's healthy. Like that's not a healthy way to do politics. And I think that it's not bringing in good people. Yeah. Because if you're like a guy that wants to run, but doesn't want to just say yes sir, Mr. Trump, sir, then why do it? Like, then you're just choosing not to do it. I've got friends like this. I've got conservative friends who are like military veterans, business owners, smart guys who call me and are like, I'm thinking about getting in this primary. And I'm like, well, are you ready to say yes, sir, Mr. Trump on everything? And they're like, no, I disagree with him on this, that, or that. And I was like, you can try, but you're going to lose because the MAGA world's just going to come down on you. That sucks, man. That's not how this should work.
It's hard to have growth in that sort of environment.
Yeah, it's hard to have good thinking. It's like anything else, right, man? Like, if nobody's telling you you're making a mistake, then how are you going to get better, right? Like, it's like this is true in any business or any organization. You don't want to have a bunch of yes men all around. And just look at the Trump administration. What is the one issue, which I mentioned already, that people have like really pushed back on him on internally in various ways? It was the tariffs. Yeah. And a lot of times they weren't willing to do it publicly. It's like privately. Like Bessent, they're going to Bessent, and they're like, dude, we're getting crushed on these. Like, you got to tell them to dial it back. And he dialed it back, and it's still too high for me, and I still think it's hurting the economy somewhat. But it went from like that month where it was a crisis, or a week or two, whatever long it was after Liberation Day, where the stock market tanked, and then Trump backed off a little bit. But so that's good. That's how it should work, right? But like you're not seeing that in a lot of these other spaces.
The only space I could probably say I'm seeing it in is Epstein.
Epstein.
That's a big one, right? I feel like the right's pretty divided on that one right now.
Yeah, Epstein. But is he changing on that?
Doesn't seem like it.
And the politicians aren't really...
They're scared to talk about it.
Massey, who I can't think of anybody else that's been talking on the Republican side has been speaking out about Epstein. Like people in our world, like
the podcaster
world.
I would say like Fuentes is calling him out, Myron Gaines, people like that.
Yeah, but look at Megyn Kelly's a good example, man. Like Megyn started to call him out at first, and like she's now starting to yeah, right.
You got to call, and I'll do it, right?
Yeah, right.
Candace
you want
Owens.
access. You want people to come on your show. You want to get the vice president on the show. It's good for. That's just kind of the way it works.
For me, I'm not worried about losing guests. You can't think that way as a host.
No,
I think so at least.
Yeah, I don't worry about it. I mean, I never had Biden on my show, even though I was supportive of Biden because I don't know if it was because or I don't know why they never told me.
You didn't get the White House invite?
I would. I got invited to the Christmas party a couple times. I got invited to a couple things at the White House, even though I said negative things about him. So they weren't that sensitive. But like he wasn't on the show. He didn't come on. Which again is fine. But yeah, I just don't look, man. If I wanted to be a propagandist, I could just go back to I could have just switched teams. I used to be a Republican PR flag. I could have switched and just became a Democrat PR flag if I wanted to be a propagandist. I like having a show where I just get to say what I really think. And I thought Biden was too old. I thought he fucked up Afghanistan, and I think that like gave me credibility with people who listen to the show, right? And at the same time, I was like, I also think him, and certainly Kamala then, where you didn't have the age question. Certainly Kamala would have done a way better job than Trump, and I still believe that.
Yeah.
But I can say that and also talk honestly about what our flaws are, weaknesses are.
And you have on both sides, which I respect too.
Yeah, I mean, I wish more Republicans would come on. I've asked every Republican senator and House member to come on. They won't do it.
Really?
There's certain guys, like MAGA world folks will fight with me, which is fun. And I got, I've gone back and forth with a lot of those guys. I go to the America Fest every year.
Do you film there or do you just go there?
The first year I filmed, and then after that, I thought it kind of gave me more credibility to just kind of go and build relationships and talk, and then sometimes, it'll turn into something, and we'll interview and schedule them later. Like we have a spin-off podcast with just Gen Z guests. I do with Cam Caskey, who you had on your
great show.
And so we've had on Bannon's young
Minions.
we've had one of Bannon's minions. We had somebody else on recently. He's like a MAGA influencer. So I just think it's better. I kind of want to hear what they really think, and I feel like if your camera's on, they're not. Sometimes they will, but like they won't always be telling me. And I just, I think it's better just to have some beers and try to understand.
Yeah.
Especially for me, because I just, it's a no for me. It's a no. I don't know, man. I don't know. The whole thing I find a little creepy, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, you can't deny he's done well at building that cult following.
Dude.
Same with Charlie Kirk.
Unbelievably. And I say this to Charlie, and I said this after the last America Fest. I forget what. God, I kind of forget. There was something. I wrote an article for the Bulwark about something that happened there that was kind of creepy or weird. Oh, no, it was about Carrie Lake. Carrie Lake confronted me at a party. Really? Carrie Lake really hated me.
Was this last year?
Yeah. Because I did a couple interviews with her that I thought were pretty fair, honestly, and she gave as good as she got. She went at, she had a, I'll give her credit, she had a funny line one time where she asked me why I dress like a teenager, if I'm a grown man. We went back and forth, and I went at her hard too on things, particularly immigration, particularly things that we disagree on. And anyway, so I thought it was fine. Whatever. It was journalist and reporter, or journalist and politician kind of relationship. Anyway, cameras are off. I'm at a bar at the America Fest thing, and Carrie Lake comes out of nowhere, and I don't know whether or not she's been drinking or not. Her eyes were a little glassy, but maybe that just happens. I don't know when you get older. But she comes at me like, you're a piece of shit. You're fake news. Like you're fucking awful. And so, anyway, weirdly, Laura Loomer de-escalated it.
Really? Out of all people?
Yeah, of all people. She came over and she told Carrie to chill. So anyway, I wrote an article kind of about how weird the vibes at the conference were, and how I thought it was strange that they were coming at me after they just won. Like it should have. You would expect them to be gracious, right? It's like, man, we just dominated you last time.
Wherever you guys are watching this show, I would truly appreciate it if you follow or subscribe. It helps a lot with the algorithm. It helps us get bigger and better guests, and it helps us grow the team. Truly means a lot. Thank you guys for supporting, and here's the episode.